website. There you go. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much.
I am, yeah, elephant guy, and I'm not the comedian.
I was
That's a different Andrew Schulz.
I was muted. Okay, I was muted for them, not for you. But okay, what I said was I don't know. I didn't know if he was watching the intro. But yes, you are not the comedian. You're
That is
the PhD
somebody
student
completely
from
different.
Georgia Tech who just did his qualifying exams this past week, which is
Yes.
awesome. He's had a week. You guys, he's had a
I,
long week.
yeah, it was an interesting week to say the least.
But thank you so much for being here with us today. We've already raised $181.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pardon me, $231 Celeron with the $50. Thank
Wow.
you so much. Okay,
So, do you want me to talk a little bit about the trust?
that would be wonderful.
So, it's common for a lot of people think about with African elephants things like poaching
Yes.
and different things that happen to elephants in Africa. But another very common thing is traps that are set out for small game, like hoofstock, which is kind of like the deer and things like that of Africa. Elephants will get their trunk and their feet stuck in, and so unfortunately, a lot of times adult elephants will pass away. But what the trust does is they help basically rehabilitate orphaned elephants into the wild, and they don't actually just work with elephants. They also have rhinos, I believe, impalas. And they basically rescue orphaned animals in East Africa and then reintroduce them into the wild when they believe that they're ready. So
Whoa.
they have a lot of really awesome, you can follow them on Twitter, and they have a really awesome videos they post every day. And what's cool is you can actually you can essentially like adopt an elephant. And if you ever go visit their project in Africa, if you adopt an elephant, you can, I believe, I'm getting this right, you can watch them put the elephants to bed at night. So it's a
That's
pretty
so
cool,
cool.
yeah, it's a pretty cool organization to donate to, and it's awesome that so many people are already passionate about it. But yeah, it's something. If a statistic that is kind of very sad is in, I believe, Africa in the last 50 years, 90% of the elephant population has gone. So they've gone from 5 million to 500,000
Oh my
since the
gosh.
beginning of the 20th century.
I didn't
So,
know that. That's
yes.
insane.
And I will say for all the people that are going to ask questions, most of the work I do is with African elephants. I
Mhm.
haven't done a lot with Asian elephants, but I'll try and answer all I can in terms of that.
Okay.
So
Okay. Awesome. So you guys and Super Genius with the $22 at $253. Thank you guys so much.
that's awesome.
For those donations. That's so cool. I linked here, I'll link it one more time. I linked the adopt an orphan tab on their website is what it's called. That's super super cool. Okay, great. So super relevant organization for what we're going to be talking about. I've told them a little bit. I don't remember how I found your Twitter, but I know that I saw some post and I went to your bio and it just says PhD elephant trunk physics. I was like, what the heck is that? Like, that's so cool. What does that mean?
So essentially what my research is I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I did my undergraduate in engineering and math, but my research is focused on understanding how the elephant moves its trunk. So appendages, their trunk can get up to about 7 to 8 feet long, depending on if it's male or female, how old the elephants are, and and it has no bone or anything besides muscle in it. So we are studying the elephant trunk to understand how it can apply to robotics.
Oh my
So that
gosh.
is the application of it, and so we do research here in Atlanta in collaboration with the Zoo Atlanta, as well as we're hoping to do field work in South Africa at Adventures with Elephants eventually. So I was there this summer doing a little bit of a pre-field work and got to see some really awesome elephants. So they have a herd of 7 elephants there. But that's kind of what my main research project is focused on. So a common thing a lot of people have heard is that elephant trunks have like 10,000 to 40,000 muscles. I will say we'll debunk that. That's never actually been studied, but that's something that we're trying to find out. So that was actually an estimation made by like a 17th century French philosopher, and he's like, "Oh, the trunk has 40,000 muscles," and so that's kind of continued from there. So,
Wow.
but yeah.
Cool. Okay, so back to what you were saying about robotics. This Science Mag video that you tweeted a while ago. Would you mind if I showed this to them? Because I watched it today. I think it's really cool, and it kind of shows what.
Is that the one with the tortilla chip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do that. I'll mute you for a second, and then I'll play this, and I'll let you know when it's. Well, you might have the stream open, so you'll see.
I have the stream open.
All right,
so
cool.
I'll see when it's done.
Okay. All right, guys, let's check this out. That's so crazy. You're a sub. You fucking simp.
Pepper jam.
Okay. So cool.
Yeah, that's right. So that was done. So I'm continuing the work of a previous postdoc that was in our lab, and most of that work was done by him. But yeah, so all of those videos were taken with our collaboration at the Zoo Atlanta. So there's two female African elephants and one male. So there's Mashola, who's a 30-year-old male, and then Kelly and Tara are 35 and 36-year-old female African elephants that we do our research with.
How long do they live? Do elephants live for?
So I believe 60 to 70 years old is how long they live. So it's unfortunately that's for males, they have a shorter life expectancy because their tusks grow longer, and so because of ivory and poaching, their life expectancy is shorter, I believe. But there's these cool pictures if you Google called big tuskers, which essentially are these male elephants where their tusks can almost reach all the way to the ground, and they're usually in their 60s, and there's only, I believe, 4 or 5 that are still living.
Whoa.
So yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
So you
my
see, those are
gosh.
called big tuskers, and so their trunks can essentially reach all the way to the ground.
That's so
it's pretty
cool.
crazy.
So how did you get into this specifically? Like elephants.
So I was looking, I wanted to get my PhD in something that was not traditional engineering, and I really wanted something that was math focused, as that's something I did in my undergraduate degree and really liked. And so I was applying to different schools, and I met my advisor here at Georgia Tech. His name's Dr. David Hu, and he has done some really interesting things on biomechanics, or biomimicry, which is getting inspiration from animals and getting to do science and experiments with them. And so he had some ideas, and I had some ideas for continuing the elephant project, but we went from there. So I got to go on a trip with my mom probably 8 or 9 years ago to South Africa, and we got to go see some African elephants. And since that, I really thought they were just fascinating animals, and so it's something that I wanted to pursue, and that's kind of how I got into it. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you had asked me 2 years ago what I would be doing, and you said I'd be doing elephant trunk physics and working
Mm-hmm.
on elephant and panda conservation, I would have told you you're crazy. But that's sometimes how life works.
Monkey with $50 and Sniper with $20. Thank you guys so
Oh my
much.
god!
That's insane. That's right. So you also have done stuff with giant pandas,
So
right?
that's a pretty new project that's up and coming. So one of the cool opportunities at Georgia Tech is my advisor and I were able to start essentially a course called the Science and Engineering of Animal Reintroduction and Conservation. And so what this is about is bringing people who are in the STEM community together to help them use their different talents and what they've learned in their undergraduate degree for a project-based course that's focusing on how can we help animals and how can we help conservation. So part of that has been working on human-elephant conflict, and another part of that is working on panda conservation. So what we're looking at on the human-elephant conflict side is how can we mitigate crop raiding. So it's a very common thing in Africa for elephants can eat, I think, 150 to 250 pounds of food a day.
Oh my gosh.
So if you have a herd of elephants, they can clear out a family farm in a single night. And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yeah, so what's currently used is they use these things called, there's a lot of things that are used, but chili bombs, where they literally light a giant dung ball of chili on fire, and it smells so bad it makes the elephants turn away. But they're using different methods, and we're trying to combine some of the methods in order to successfully help farmers mitigate these things. So a lot of
Wow.
people are looking at human-elephant conflict, but we're trying to look at it more from how can undergraduates in a like senior design kind of built course help with that. So
That's
that's
so
the
cool.
elephant side. Yeah, it's awesome.
Neat. Okay, so going back to that video a little bit, we watched. I think it's an easy thing for people to latch onto. It's literally the title of this video is, or
Elephant
the
picks up tortilla
headline.
chip.
Yeah, watch an elephant pick up a tortilla chip with her trunk without breaking it.
Yeah,
So in that
pretty
video,
awesome.
were you a part of making that video? Were you there?
No, I was not. So I was brought on after a little bit after that. But so what's one of the prime differences between African elephants and Asian elephants is on the very end of their trunk, African elephants have two digits or two fingers, if you will. So they kind of have an opposable thumb, whereas Asian elephants have not developed they just basically have a ball of cartilage and then only one finger. And so African elephants can do things like pick up dimes, pick up peanuts, and what Wu, the postdoc, previously was looking at is how can an elephant pick up a tortilla chip without like could it pick up a object without breaking it. And
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever played the minute to win it game where you have to like pick up pennies with a straw, that's
Yes.
basically how they do it. Is so
Okay.
they flatten their trunk out and they use suction, kind of like when you use a straw to pick up a penny, and they're able to lift it off the ground.
Okay.
And so we're looking at how they're able to do that, but it's pretty amazing. So Kelly, who's in the video, her trunk is about, I think, 250 pounds, and that tortilla chip is like 30 grams. So they're
That's
able to,
crazy. So that's what the scale
yeah.
was for then.
Yes, and we've done some other experiments that are rather new, where we had an elephant pick up a barbell that everything that weighs up to 130 pounds. So we
They
had
can
like
pick
a,
up 130 pounds.
yep, easily.
What?
So if they're motivated, they can bulldoze trees. So males, for fun, will bulldoze trees in Africa. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Oh my god, that's
they're
scary.
very intimidating. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So was your first experience with elephants in South Africa with your mom then?
Yeah, so we were in Kruger National Park, which is a conservation park in East South Africa, and it's also, I believe, in 2 other countries, but it's a giant national park, and all the blanket statement, but I think basically all the animals there are free roaming.
Mhm.
So if you can drive, but all of your windows have to be closed. So if you've ever seen videos of elephants like chasing a car or something like that,
Mhm.
it might have probably been in Kruger National Park. So that's where we first got to see some African elephants. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Someone in chat asked, why for robotics, why are they looking to elephants to copy and not human hands? I think you've touched on that a little bit.
So if you think of like a situation where you have a building that collapses and you have all of these like tight spaces to maneuver through, well, a traditional robot, you think of like the robot dance, right? You have all of these like joints that are moving, and an elephant trunk can essentially move without any of that bone structure. So
Mhm.
what we're trying to understand is how can they move this like 5 or 6 foot long appendage in a way that can maneuver. If you Google FESTO elephant robot, you can kind of see a picture of,
Oh, whoa. What
yeah.
is this? I saw a picture of this on,
Mhm.
I don't remember where, but
So that first picture is a really, really awesome one. And so what they're looking at is the Festo Corporation is looking at essentially uh, a appendage that mimics how the elephant trunk can behave, and you see it has all of those little parts that are behave similar to like how an elephant trunk is able to. So what these things are, what our inspiration is it's called soft robotics, and it's essentially making robots that are not made of traditional like metal materials, like you think of when you think of like Terminator. I think a bunch of people in your chat are talking about Terminator things.
yeah.
So yeah,
Whoa. This is crazy. Monkey
yeah.
with another $50. Oh my
Wow, that's
gosh.
awesome.
How can we be sure this elephant robot won't become sentient? Okay. All right. This is
That's out of my out of my scope of study.
yeah, that's fair. That is so cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting project, and it's had a lot of cool opportunities, and it's something that is pretty has remained pretty unexplored. So previously, a lot of the research has been done with octopi,
Uh-huh.
and they're looking because octopuses, elephant trunks, and human tongues are all these fancy named muscular hydrostats, which essentially means a purely musculature appendage. So you think about our arms, our head, etc. They are all essentially, they have these bones and you have cartilage, but not any of those things. And so those are the 3 main things that are studied to get inspiration for this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Sanix with $10 asked, "What's the average trunk size of an elephant?" I think you talked. Isn't it like 7 or is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
so let's see. So Kelly is a 36-year-old, 34-year-old female African elephant, and I think her trunk is 6.5 feet long.
Okay.
Masholo is a 30-year-old male, and his trunk's like 7 feet long. So it depends. A cool little fun fact, though, is it's probably the cutest picture I've tweeted. So
I
when
have it.
elephants are born, it takes them about 1 to 2 years
I was
to
literally gonna ask you this. I have it
yeah.
bookmarked.
Uh,
I have
el-
this too
el-
bookmarked.
it takes them about 1 to 2 years to actually understand how to use their trunk. So adult elephants will use their trunks like basically like a straw. Like if you've ever put a straw in the water and you plug one end and you take it out, because of the pressure, the water stays there.
Uh-huh.
But baby elephants don't know how to do that, so they just stick their whole head in the water.
That is the cutest thing
And,
I've ever
and
seen. Oh
yeah,
my
it's pretty
gosh.
awesome.
I was
And
going
so
I was going through your Twitter today and this is the only tweet that I have bookmarked ever. Because I was like, I need to ask him about this.
It is.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is very, very adorable. And so, if you've ever seen those videos of like baby elephants like helicoptering their trunk around, it's the same thing. They don't really know how to use it,
Uh-huh.
um, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So, and the baby elephants are absolutely adorable. So,
They take a while to mature then, huh? Because this, like,
yeah. Well,
this is so small.
it also I think it takes the mom 20 over 2 years to have the baby.
Holy cow.
I think it's like a 26-month pregnancy.
Oh
Don't
my gosh, what a
don't quote me
nightmare.
on that, but yeah, the,
That's so crazy.
yeah.
Brandon with $5. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Um, Chat, what questions do you guys have? I know some of you had some questions coming in um, about this. Besides that, yeah, ignore it. I'll read you the good questions. Don't read it. Just don't read it. Do elephants die of old age because their teeth stop being affected and they can't feed anymore?
Yes, it's
really
so sad.
I didn't know that.
What happens is their teeth fall out and they're no longer able to. So they have giant molars because they're herbivores, and so they don't need any canines or anything like we have, and so they their teeth fall out, and they're not able to essentially chew on things, and so unfortunately, when elephants die in the wild, a lot of times they essentially starve to death.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. I did not know that. And then somebody also asked if you have any memorable experiences with elephants. I'm sure there are plenty.
So, so what's one of the strange? Okay, so I'll start with one of the strangest ones.
Okay.
So, when an elephant is away from a herd for a long time being like 30 or 45 minutes, when they come back, they do something that's called a reunion.
Okay.
And if you've seen like the intro of Lion King, you know, when they're panning and Circle of Life's playing and the elephants like throw their trunks up and they trumpet and things like that, that's kind of what a reunion is. However, an additional thing elephants do when they have a reunion is they all go to the bathroom at the exact same time.
Why?
So
do you know?
I don't really know.
Okay.
But if you ever experience a reunion, it's like really cool and really horrifying at the exact same time.
Okay.
But that's one of the most interesting experiences I've had with elephants. And another story that comes to mind is they're very, very strong, and they really like to have fun. And so a lot of I guess it might not be that, but they can eat a pumpkin whole. So like a giant pumpkin.
Yeah.
They feed them pumpkins around fall. And elephants actually love pumpkins, and they'll just throw the whole thing in their mouth and chomp down on it. It's kind of like if you've ever seen that hippo video that went viral of them throwing a
yes,
watermelon.
the watermelon. Oh, that video is nuts.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've had quite a few memorable experiences with elephants, and so I got to be in pretty close proximity with some of the ones in South Africa, and that was something that's really cool, but also was a little bit intimidating. I think one of them's like my Twitter profile picture or something. But yeah, so
wow.
But yeah, that was they're really incredible animals, and we appreciate and I appreciate them a lot, and kind of and something you don't realize is or I guess everyone talks about them, and it's in some rap music, is like, you know, elephants never forget. And they really are really they're really great at memory. And so they're incredibly smart animals, and this is one of the reasons that it's very difficult for the what I talked about earlier with human-elephant conflict. It's very difficult to find methods that work for human-elephant conflict because they're so smart. They'll learn how to, like, what is the loophole around something like the chili bombs. They'll learn that, oh, if we just go away for 2 hours and we come back,
Yeah.
it'll be out, and then we can go and eat. And so as soon as the matriarch of the herd understands that, then that solution will never work again. So that's something that's pretty common with people in your chat might be familiar with elephants are afraid of bees. And
I haven't heard
someone
that.
I saw put ants, but I don't believe they're afraid of ants. They're definitely afraid of bees.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is the bees basically have this alarm pheromone that elephants really don't like. And so a really cool thing that a place called, what is it called? The Elephant Foundation, I think, is doing bee fences. And so what farmers are able to do is put beehives around their farm, and it helps with pollination. They collect honey to sell, and it helps keep the elephants from invading their field. So
That's
that's done
cool.
by, oh, who is that done by? I'm forgetting this. But yeah, so that's a really cool, Save the Elephants. So it's Save the Elephants, and it's a project that is out of Kenya that works on the elephants and the bees project. So
Wow.
it's really cool. Yeah.
So, Monkey tipped $50 again. Monkey, you're
Oh my God.
crazy, and said, "So elephants group pee like females when they go to the bathroom." That's okay, good one. Appreciate it. And Raven Care with $100.
Wow.
Raven, thank you so much. And Raven asked if you've ever been picked up by an elephant.
I have not, and I really hope to never.
It sounds
experience
scary. That's like
that.
very intimidating.
Yeah, so if you do experiments with them, like watching them pick up a 135-pound barbell with just the front of their trunk, like
Yeah.
to like 7 feet with no effort whatsoever.
Yeah. That's scary.
Yeah, it kind of puts things in perspective.
Okay. So a couple more questions that I saw. We just talked about Dan. Thank you so much for the $3. You said that they're very smart. I've seen it before. I don't know if I've seen it in like on like an Instagram post or something, but the idea of them like respecting the dead, or like when a member of their herd dies, they like circle it.
So they have really like tight knit groups. So something to kind of talk about with elephants is, first off, herds are all females, and male children. So when elephants basically get into their teenage years ish, they go through something called must, which is where their testosterone goes up like 100-fold. And so they get so angry and moody that the matriarch will kick them out of the herd. And so when you see a giant elephant herd, it's all females and their male children that are pre-must. And so
Okay.
but so if something like that happens, I'm sure it's due to like a long-term matriarch or something like that passing away. But they are a very protective species. So to give you an example of, so let's say herd of 5 elephants is in the wild, and one of the elephants gets their trunk trapped or something like that. So all of the other elephants will protect it. So in order for humans to actually go in and be able to remove the trap, a lot of times they use tranquilizer darts on all the elephants because they're so protective of the one that's injured. And then once they've removed it and they've done the medical care they need to, then they leave, obviously, and then everything's good. But yeah, so that's something. I'm not 100% sure on on that. I haven't read too much into it, but I have seen those videos that you talked about.
Yeah. So Nuck tipped $50. Nuck, thank you so much, and asked if we've seen this video. It's of an elephant taking this guy's hat off and putting it on his head. I just wanted to play that because Nuck gave a very generous donation. Thank you so much. That was very cute. I appreciate that. Another question that came up that I am interested in, because I always thought this when I was a kid, but I haven't given it much thought since, is they drink out of their
Okay,
trunks. Yeah, so breathing and drinking. How do
Yeah, so that's something that we're looking into now. But so at the back of so if you imagine elephants' nostrils go through their trunk and then basically up into their head and down. And what we think is they have these like valves that they're able to plug. But it's not something, I don't believe, that is completely known, is how they breathe if they store water. I will say they never just sit there and hold water, but what they can do is they can put their trunk in water, suck up water, and then they close those valves. And then that's kind of what holds the water in there for them to put it in their mouth in order to drink it. But yeah, so I believe they mainly do breathe through their trunk as well. So it's something that's interesting is if they're actually holding their breath while they're drinking, because that would be a very weird thing
Yeah.
for humans. But that's something. So we have a collaborator that is an anatomist. So she's a expert in anatomy, and she's looking into that. But right now, I'm not completely sure exactly how they breathe and some things like that. I just know that they have those valves in the back of their head to essentially drink water.
That's super interesting. Okay, I'd always thought about that. That never made sense to me. Standstill just tipped $500. And said, "Why'd people happy?" That's one of the biggest. I mean, that's the biggest donation we've gotten here in a while.
That's awesome.
Standstill 10. Thank you so much. That's insane. So for those of you who are just stopping in here, we're fundraising today for Sheldrick Wildlife Fund. Did I say that? Wildlife Trust.
Yeah.
You can do Command Oregon chat if you wanna look at the website. They're doing really important conservation and protection in East Africa primarily.
Yes.
And they have a really cool adopt an orphan program. And they're really active on social media. They have really, really great social media accounts. So you should go check them out. You should go follow them as well. But that's $1,114 raised for them today, you guys. That's so
incredible.
Cool. Thank you so much. Dionysus asked, are they actually scared of mice, or is that a myth?
So I think man, that's something I've always wanted to look at, because there's that, what is it? It was a children's book, I think. As a kid, I saw was like the elephant.
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
And there's also one of like the elephant and the alligator, where an elephant like sucks up an alligator into its trunk.
Wait, in Dumbo's scared of mice? Really? Okay,
so,
apparently that's what they think.
I'm not sure. But they where is I going with this? So they elephants, they oh my gosh, Dumbo, come my ADHD
Scared
brain
of?
is
No, that's okay. We're used to that here. They're elephants being scared of mice.
Oh yeah, so I don't think so. I do know that the reason, I think, I mean, elephants are afraid of some things, but I don't think they are super afraid of mice. Like, mice might be afraid of them, but I don't think that's ever been scientifically tested. It would be really cool to do something like that, but I have no idea how to go about that.
I feel like it's got to be dependent on the individual too, huh?
Yeah.
Like I don't. I mean, I don't know that I've ever actually met. I mean, I've seen elephants at zoos, but I've never interacted with one, I don't think.
It's they definitely are afraid of some things, but definitely not of others. So,
Yeah.
example being, um, the elephants that I work with at the Atlanta Zoo, we talked a little bit about bees earlier. They're not afraid of the native Georgia honeybees,
Mm-hmm.
but all of the elephants in Africa are. So people believe that it's a learned behavior, essentially. So what that means is, right, that like someone got stung and then that elephant told everybody else, and so everyone's learned to stay away. But I don't think that's occurred. Um, with Kelly and Tara at the zoo, so I don't believe they're afraid. So
Yeah. Um. Okay, that makes sense. So Bob asked, he asked if the elephant trunk, and bad with $20. Thank you so much. Would the elephant trunk robots be able to lift as much weight as the real trunks, or are the robots primarily focused on being flexible and wiggly rather than strong?
so that's a thing. That's an awesome question. So that's exactly what we're looking at. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, robots are usually either very strong or very flexible. And so the
Okay.
very strong robots are the super clanky metal ones. Like you've probably seen videos of them, like building cars, right? And they have all of these different arms that can move. However, they're not very flexible like an elephant trunk is. So what we're hoping is to make a combination of the two and seeing how elephants can have such flexibility, but also have great strength with their trunk. So that's something that we're trying to design, and that's something that we're hoping. But that's definitely what the goal of the robot is to find something that's equally strong and flexible.
Okay. Very cool. Um, Guys, stop. That was okay. That was maybe Michigan's question, not Bob's question. I'm sorry. I thought I was being nice by saying good job, Michigan. Um, okay. Other questions that we have. Can elephants injure their trunks? I would imagine they can.
Yes. So so a lot of elephants, and I think some of the ones at the trust actually have injured their trunks in different ways. Like to give you an example, we talked about how elephants drink water kind of like a straw. So there is an elephant where I was doing field work that had, I believe, a injury from a poaching incident on their trunk, and it punctured one of their nostrils. And so the
Oh,
elephant's not actually able to drink water that same way because they can't create the back pressure like it would be like doing the straw thing, but there's a hole in the straw,
right. Yeah.
and so it has to dip most of the trunk into the water in order to do that. But yes, so they can injure their trunks. It happens frequently with traps. So if you think of like something like a bear trap or something like that, um, or traps that are for smaller game. It's very easy because that's what elephants kind of like that's how elephants kind of see what's in front of them sometimes or below
Mm-hmm.
them when they eat. It's very easy for them to get their trunks or legs caught. So yes. However, if an elephant's like if a little bit of an elephant trunks has been cut off, they'll utilize different methods in order to do things. So, an example of another elephant that I was looking at doing field work with, he had lost about the first, I think, foot of his trunk. So, he didn't
Oh.
have those fingers on the end. However,
Oh
what he would
no.
do is he would sweep food and things like that with into one of his legs and basically broom using one of his legs in order to bring it up with the mouth to his mouth.
Wow.
So they're really really smart animals, but and so they're able to adapt if their trunks. But I believe there's a researcher that's working on creation of like elephant trunk prosthetics
Mm-hmm.
for elephants that have the first bit of their trunks taken off. But it's a
That's
very, I mean,
that sounds complicated.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, I don't do that. But they, I mean, it's imagine if you have like something that you use to essentially eat, drink, communicate. It's how they feel. It's how they. Interestingly, they all mothers discipline their young using their
Mm-hmm.
trunk. So
How
essentially, it's
how does that
uh,
work?
they whack their kids
Really?
if they're being bad. Yeah. So
That's crazy.
yeah, so it's essentially like
Whoa.
um, some interesting yeah, whack whack. It's some interesting. It's interesting to kind of see that and get that experience to actually see. So two of the elephants that I was with in Africa have children, and so when their children are misbehaving, sometimes they do that. So yeah,
All
whack
right.
whack.
That's nuts. Jeff tipped $10, asked, "Is it true elephants can sense vibrations through the ground?"
Yes, so they can actually
What?
well, hold up. So they can do what's called they can hear infrasound, which is really low frequencies. And so if you think of listening to like really bassy music, they can hear those uh, sounds, and what that actually allows them to do is to communicate like miles away from each other, and so they can hear these different sounds that they make, and I believe they make the sounds by essentially like rumbling um, maybe their stomach, and it makes a sound that other elephants can kind of identify with. But they're able to, I believe, also detect storms from several
What?
miles away. I think thunderstorms. I think elephants uh, can detect storms.
What the heck? I didn't know that. That's so crazy.
Elephants can sense rain up to 150 miles away, even predicting when it's rainy season.
What?
Yeah, they can
150 miles
see miles
away?
away. Yeah. So they're better than our meteorologists. But okay, sorry, that was kind of savage.
Oh
But
my god. What? That's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. So
Oh my gosh. Okay. Good question. I'm glad you asked that question because I wouldn't have asked and I wouldn't have thought of that because I'd never even heard of that. That's so cool. Another really good question. Danny with $10, thank you. He said, got here late, sorry if this already been asked. Is there an explanation for African elephants having two fingers at the tip of their trunk while Asian elephants only have one? Is it a difference in diet or is it just an evolutionary change?
so I think that it's both. So I
Okay.
believe the reason is so Asian elephants don't need to essentially like if you think of getting an apple off of a tree,
Mm-hmm.
right? You kind of need your opposable thumb in order to get the apple off its stem, and so I believe African elephants. If I don't know which way the evolution went, if African elephants developed the second finger, or if but I believe they have utilized it to eat, and Asian elephants do not actually need the utilization. So there's several differences between Asian and African elephants, including the finger on the end of their trunk. A lot of people talk about, their ears, how African elephants have the ears that look like Africa, and you can also tell by the color of their trunk. So Asian elephants will have like some pink pigmentation and like coloring on
Mm-hmm.
their trunk and their head, and but there's a bunch of different ways. The primary way for females is female African elephants have tusks, and female Asian elephants do not.
Oh.
However, recently, because of they believe because of poaching, there have been some male elephants that have been born without tusks. So
Wait,
and
because of poaching?
and they believe because of poaching, I think, is essentially these uh, elephants that have smaller tusks
Do better?
have not
No way.
better, and yeah, so that's something that's really really sad.
That's that's nuts. I didn't realize that it had been. Well, I guess
Yeah.
I didn't think about
Well,
it
I mean,
going on
yeah.
for
So
that long enough for that to happen.
like yeah, like I said, 90% in the last 100 years. So their populations has been rapidly decreasing.
90% in the last 100 years, guys.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
5 mil to 500,000.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that I don't really know how to segue out of that. But Sanix just tipped $3 and asked if baby elephants suck their trunks like a thumb.
So the keepers at at the trust, they'll actually that's something that they do before the elephants go to bed. So
Wait, really?
some of their stuff on Twitter, you can see some of the keepers will let the baby elephants suck on their thumbs before they go to bed because it makes them feel like they're feeding.
So, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I guess, yeah.
Wow. Baby elephants are so cute. Oh my gosh.
They are.
Did you get to
Adorable.
see any in Africa?
Yeah, so I got to actually hang out with here. Let me see if I can just I got to hang out with a baby and feed a baby named Bella. I might be able to send you. Can I send pictures on?
Yeah, you can send me pictures on Discord. Pull them up. Whoa. Look at that. You That's crazy. So this how old was this elephant, do you know?
Bella is 2.5 years old, I believe, or maybe she was about to have her third birthday. So I mean, that's kind of yeah. So kind of a baby elephant, and to give you
Wow.
some size difference in terms of is this it? Yeah, that's this is Michelle, I believe. Yeah, here we go. And then this is me with a adult male.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a little bit of a size difference.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I think that male's 25, and so only about 7, or I think no, he's about 8 feet, and they can grow up to be about 12 feet tall as they get older. Because like we said, they can grow up to 60 or 70 years old.
Wow. You look kind of scared. No, you look happy.
I was.
You were scared.
They were like, "Smile, Andrew," and I was like, "Okay."
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome. Oh
so,
my gosh.
oh yeah, the voice crack. Yes, my voice has been cracking since.
I'm so sorry you're reading chat. Most guests don't even
great.
bother. But I'm impressed that you've been able to keep up pretty well with it.
Stop reading chat, bro. Sorry, man. But one thing that I wanted to let people know is somebody asked, "Are all elephants gray?" And so if you've ever seen you've seen videos of elephants throwing dust on them, so that's actually how they cool off. Is so elephants cool off. Say try hard, Andrew. Oh my god. But most elephants will essentially throw dust on themselves, and that's how they can cool off. And so they either cool off using that, or they will flap their ears back and forth, and they have a bunch of blood vessels in
like a rabbit.
Yeah, they have a bunch of blood vessels in their ears, and so they'll pump blood through that, and then by flapping their ears, they're able to cool off. And so a way that scientists use to identify elephants is the back of their ears. The blood vessels is kind of like a fingerprint. So no two elephants have the same. So using camera traps when they're observing elephants, they can essentially look at those blood vessels, and that will and that's how they can help identify them. So
that's cool. I never thought about that either. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Chat, thank you for that. Do you watch Twitch? Because you play games.
Yeah,
games.
I do.
You do watch Twitch?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he knows, you guys. We can relax. I was talking to him. He said that yesterday he spent the whole day playing video games because he had a week with his exams. So you guys, you thought you got him, but you didn't. Okay. Yeah. All right, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's this podcast is relatively new. You're I guess, is it relatively new now, guys? You're the 12th guest, which is kind of new.
Okay. So like 3 months.
Yeah. And most of the guests that we have on here are not familiar with the platform, and with chat and Twitch, as a whole. So.
Oh yeah, oh man, I don't remember when I started watching streamers on Twitch. So probably back in my League of Legends days, but yeah. So and then good old Warcraft 3. So
Cool.
Yeah.
What was that question? I want to read it, but I feel like you're lying. I'm considering a PhD in math. Can you ask him about the rigors of PhD? Ooh.
Oh boy, fun. So, important part in looking at if you're wanting to get your PhD in math, is that what?
I think so, is what he was asking.
So what a lot of times you have to do is you go through these things called qualifying exams, which are seeing if you're qualified to get a PhD, and so it's usually about the subjects that your research is most about, and so mine are essentially about physics and math, and so that's what this week and last week were. But I mean, PhDs can take anywhere from 5 to I know some people have taken 12 years. So,
oh my gosh, I could never.
Yeah.
I'm finishing up my I'm finishing up my senior year, and I'm over it. I cannot imagine doing 12 years. That is insane. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Good question. Of high school, not graduating. I am gonna graduate. So how long do you have then to?
So I've been here a year and a half, and I will graduate hopefully in 3 to 4 years. So hopefully it'll take me about 5 to 5.5 years, and I hope to eventually go back and teach. So that's kind of my end goal. So yeah.
Cool. That was gonna be my next question. His channel. Do you stream by chance?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
No.
You can follow his Instagram here. Let me link you guys. I should have made a chat for this, or a command for this. But,
oh man, no.
Or not your Instagram. I'm sorry, your Twitter. There you go.
Yeah. So I do not stream.
Well, that's probably for the best. What? Out of curiosity, what streamers do you watch, or did you watch?
So mainly right now,
Wait, I didn't mean that's for the best because you'd be a bad streamer. I mean because streaming, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry.
I would be a bad streamer.
Continue. Me too.
But so I've watched a lot of. So I never really got into Fortnite, but I watched Dr. Lupo and Tim the Tapman probably a few years ago, and then I've watched some of. I play StarCraft now, and so I've watched just some of the StarCraft channels and things like that. So like Cyril and the different pros and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Neat. All right. Well, guys, any more questions before we close up here? We're at $1,168. Nick with 20 gifted subs out of nowhere. Thank you so much.
Oh wow!
Holy
that's awesome.
cow, that's insane. Do you have any papers that they can read?
So, wow, you sound like my advisor.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But so we're working on getting some stuff out right now, and so I can send those papers and stuff like that to you when they've been published. And something that's cool that we're also working on is kind of like trying to do a new version of. If everybody in your chat remembers, doing a new version of Zoo Books.
Oh my gosh!
For elephants. So
I love those.
Where people could essentially do look at and like just kind of a book that you can have. And man, what am I, 24 years old, and I still love stuff like that. So it'd be cool to kind of make a new version of Zoo Books or something like that.
That's so cool. Do you remember Zoo Books? You.
Me?
Do you remember Zoo Books?
I memorized the commercial.
Come do it. My boyfriend's here. He streams as well.
No, this is your show.
No, you're good. I'm inviting you.
Oh, I'm nervous. I don't like streaming. God, no. I hate that shit.
Never mind.
What does your boyfriend stream?
What do you stream?
What do I stream?
Yeah.
That's actually a good question. I don't know if I can answer that.
That's a good question. He likes Smite.
You don't think?
Uh,
Oh yeah, Alex, fine. I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yo.
All right. Anonymous, thank you for the $3. Okay, Zubux, that's awesome. So I'll let you guys know, but you can follow him on Twitter. I'm sure you can stay up to date there.
yeah. And
Is there?
I mean,
No, go ahead.
okay.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say so. And also like if you're in Atlanta and stuff like that, the zoo, Atlanta Zoo has a brand new habitat for the elephants. And so, I mean, if you're ever in Atlanta, if anyone in your chat's in Atlanta, it's a really some of your chats in Atlanta. Then it's a really cool thing to do. So
That's awesome. There you go, Chad. Now you know. Nick with $77.77.
and I do need a new haircut, so I appreciate your chat for letting me know that.
I'm really sorry. See, it really is just better if you don't read it, but it's also cool that you understand it. So I give and take. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we close up here or chat? Any more
What was
questions?
his favorite zoo book?
What was my favorite? It was elephants. But I was gonna say one of the things I can't talk
Really?
about. Yeah, I have it here.
Does he memorize the commercial? Oh shit!
I have not memorized the commercial.
Apparently.
Did he memorize the commercial though?
He said no.
No.
Does he know the first part of the commercial?
I don't.
Now your child can visit steamy jungles, grassy plains, and the dark depths of the ocean to meet and learn surprising facts about the magnificent animals that live there, all through the captivating, colorful pages of zoo books.
All right.
That's what he should stream. Is he should just stream the intro to zoo books every single day.
That it's pretty similar, I think. You do a good job. All right. Anybody else with questions?
I was gonna say I can talk a little bit about pandas. People.
Yeah.
I think one person asked about pandas like pseudo thumb earlier. And so pandas actually are a really weird animal because people don't really understand. So they eat a ton of bamboo, which is this thing that everyone knows about pandas. But they're actually omnivores, so they're meant to eat meat as well, but they don't really. So bamboo's so bad, or I guess so hard to digest. Pandas have like one of the best days ever because they spend, I think, like 50% of their time sleeping, 45% of their time eating, and 5% of their time doing everything else.
What?
So
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm always surprised when people come on and say that kind of thing about animal. We had a big cat, another PhD student, who's studying big cat genomics. She said lions sleep like 22 hours a day or something.
Yeah, they're
just
so
insane.
Especially male lions are lazy. They're super lazy, but because female lions are the ones that actually go out and do the hunting and things like that.
Right.
So yeah.
So
they're lazy.
Do you do stuff with giant panda conservation? How are they doing out there?
So they just got but they essentially just got downgraded on the what is it, IUCN world scale. So they went from, I think, endangered to vulnerable. So their population's increasing, and a large part of that is due to conservation efforts.
Cool.
That they're working on their habitats in China. But yeah, so they're I believe a flagship species for conservation.
Nice.
So yeah.
That's awesome. We don't get to hear stuff like that very often on this podcast. So I appreciate that. That's really cool.
It's good to hear. But yeah, they're a really they're very interesting. They roll. They're one of the only animals that rolls. So I'm sure you've probably seen.
I've seen videos of that.
Videos of them. They're rolling around and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty cool to do research with them. So I think 15 undergraduates in the different classes that I TA for, and they're all working on these human-elephant conflict and panda conservation projects. So
There's another question that came up in chat. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at this. He said, "Can you ask if pandas are stupid? I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm genuinely curious if the problems with them not reproducing or eating the correct diets are because they're not intelligent animals or not evolving properly, or is it just human interference?"
I believe they're just very lazy animals because
Okay.
they don't have many, what's the term? Like apex predators.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think they have a lot of competition. So I believe they've just gotten lazy over time, but I don't know a ton about panda biology. We're mainly looking at if God, your chat is amazing.
It's distracting.
But we're mainly looking at how they're climbing. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So we should start eating pandas. No, I don't think that that's the point here. But thank you, Sinek. Okay. Well, that's really exciting. We don't get to hear that often. I love hearing that.
So and so actually I'm getting to go next week to see the pandas in
where
China.
at? In China? What?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Should be cool. So going next week and to go to like the international conference of giant panda breeding and conservation. So in Chengdu, which is in the Sichuan province.
Wow.
Yeah. So it should be really cool.
That's awesome. Good for you. So one question about the rolling. Why? Like, is that for fun, for transportation, for what? Do you know? You don't know? They just roll?
I think it's a really, I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I think it might be, they figured out that that's a easier way to move around. I'm not really.
Okay, cool.
I'm not really sure. They seem a little different. So.
All right. Well, that's neat.
Do I have any pets? So, here, 1 second.
Pause, champ.
So I don't have pets, but so one of my lab mates has a tarantula.
Oh, what kind of tarantula is that?
I think it's called like a pink-haired tarantula. So it's actually a good little prank that we have in our lab, that if people come in, we ask if they like spiders, and if they say no, then we'll usually show them the spider. So
nice.
We've gotten a few people with that. But yeah, so we have 2 tarantulas and then actually a oxalotl back in.
What is that?
It's like a Mexican salamander or Mexican. They're kind of blind. You can Google AXOLTL, I think.
I could not. Oh, that's what this is called?
Yeah, it's an oxalotl. So
did you guys know what these were? I've seen these for sure. I just didn't know that's what they were called.
They look like a Pokemon.
They do.
Yeah, they look like a Pokemon. That's what I think every time.
They're beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love them.
Yeah, that's so their gills are really pretty. But yeah, so yeah, our oxalotl's the key to everlasting life.
They are the key to. Can you explain that?
No, that was just the title of the article. So,
oh, okay. I thought you were just saying that. I was like, are they really?
So that we have, but we have some different stuff in here. So
that's a good question. Somebody just asked if do you know who EROB221 is?
I do not.
Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay, so chat. Any other questions that we have? Somebody asked.
L.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. That's a long question, guys. $1,253. Yeah, wait, do elephants have any natural, like, what are the natural predators of elephants, or are there any?
So, if you've ever seen Planet Earth, it talks a little bit about how when lions are really starving, a group of lionesses will go for elephants. But really, the only thing that's, I guess, desperate enough is big cats. So that's mainly. I don't think cheetahs do, but um, and what is it? Not is it? What's the other big cat? Is it panthers? Uh, but I think it's mainly groups of lionesses that do. Yes, oxalotls are also critically endangered, as somebody said. But yeah, so it's that's I think the only thing that does. But humans are definitely their biggest.
Biggest threat?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so last two dono questions here, guys. Dionysus, I'm sorry I missed this earlier. He said, I've seen videos of elephants using their trunk to smack people around. Is that what they would use to attack humans?
I don't really know. So if elephants are threatened, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll curl their trunks up, and they'll bat their ears and they'll do like a warning charge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't believe so. But that is, I think, one of their primary defense mechanisms is their tusks as well as their trunks. So, but they're also massive. So I think males can get to like 12,000 pounds and above. So
12,000 pounds.
pounds, yeah. So the 30-year-old male um, that I've met is I think 10,000 pounds, and that's only mid-age, so he'll still keep growing. But yeah.
Guys,
So
if this is any sort of reference, my horse that you guys have seen pictures of, he's like 1,200 pounds. So that's crazy. And then last dono, Nuck with $50 again.
awesome.
Oh, it's not a question. I'm sorry. You just said, I hope this helps with charity. Love you guys. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for the really, really good questions. You guys have been so great with questions lately. There was a lot of other stuff in there too, but it was a good time. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. And Andrew, thank you so much for being here at the end of your super long week.
No problem.
I really appreciate this, and it'll be really cool to donate all of this.
And thanks to all your thanks to all your wonderful people in chat. So
Yeah.
appreciate your chat, and PogChamp to all y'all. So
Everybody that donated, thank you so much, and you guys for watching and asking questions and hanging out. Thank you. I appreciate that, and you got a bunch of pog champs for that. There you go. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch. Oh, we have something for you. Hang on. Citrus, as always, with the beautiful, wonderful thank you card. I don't know if you have my stream open right now. Do you?
I do have your stream
Okay.
open.
This is for you from the viewers. Citrus, thank you so much for making this. I will send you this cute thank you card. It has some names of some donators and some viewers on it.
That's awesome.
And I'll tweet this out today, and with the amount that we raised today for Sheldrick. That's awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. Citrus, hearts, smiles, whatever in chat for Citrus. Thank you for doing this every week. You're the best. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And thank you for doing these awesome conservation casts. So this is awesome to raise charity for these different orgs, and I know you've had different people from different that do research with different parts of the animal kingdom. So
yeah,
really cool.
We've done so much cool learning on here. It's awesome. Yeah. We're super lucky.
And if you have any, like, seriously, if people have follow-up questions and stuff like that, feel free to shoot me a tweet and stuff like that, and I'll try and answer. So sorry I'm not a streamer and I can't stream my shitty gameplay, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. Good. So there's Beach just linked his Twitter. You guys go follow his Twitter. It's really cool. He's got really cool posts on there. Good luck in China. That is so cool.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing some stuff.
Here's my favorite guest you had.
Post a picture. So.
Okay, awesome. And Ms. just said you were his favorite guest that I've had on here. So.
But you play League.
So congratulations.
And not Smite.
He doesn't really play League anymore.
I haven't played League in a while, but
He hasn't played League in a while.
You said he played yesterday.
I did not.
I thought after a week of stress, Andrew went into League of Legends, probably a bronze. And
What? Stop. No.
Didn't you say
After
yeah,
he played video games yesterday.
Total bronze leaguer. Yeah. I actually
What do you
don't
play,
even
Jump King?
know I don't even know if Smite has leagues, so I don't actually know how Smite works. But
He doesn't know how Smite works. Nuck just
I
tipped
don't think
another
people who made
$50.
Smite know how Smite works. Let's be real. And we'll have a podcast about that later. We'll talk.
yeah,
Nuck,
you can open with Zoo Books. So
you can open with Zoo Books.
What?
You can open the podcast with Zoo Books.
What does that mean?
You can do your Zoo Books intro, your commercial.
Oh, perfect.
Nuck tipped $50 just to say, can you tell Mizzy I love him? So, thank you, Nuck, again. Really appreciate that.
But no,
it's good. Wait, does he like Tim the Tatman?
Yeah, he does. Actually,
Yo,
you know what? Hang on 1 second. Let me get you. No, he's not. He's not drinking. He's not drinking that on the podcast.
Tim the Tatman got me into White Claws.
Wait. I'm gonna make it so that you.
Me and Timmy go way back. I saw him the other day. He invited me to his house. He had a refrigerator
of White Claws.
Yeah.
He's actually That's.
And he's like, dude, have some White Claws. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna tell my boy Andrew about this. He's gonna love this story.
You just don't like obeying the laws, do you?
Wait, what's wrong? What's wrong with White Claws?
No, there's just no.
They're not white trunks, dude. It's fine.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
He said there's no laws when you're drinking claws.
Oh. Andrew,
It's true. It's true. I hear that all the time in school.
Andrew, when was the last time you got white girl wasted?
Stop. Okay, enough.
That's a question. What someone in chat asked.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Nuck, there are a lot of huge donos today. Guys, a $500 donation today. Absolutely insane. And we ended today. Awesome. Yeah, we ended today at $1,358. So thank you so much, you guys. I will send you this card. I'll add to the tweet that I did earlier today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you get to play more games and relax, and then go see some cool pandas and go have a great time.
That's the plan. So thank you to everybody, and again, and I think you talked about it, but the trust does where you can essentially adopt either an elephant or a rhino. And stuff like that of what they've trusted, of what they've the animals they've saved. But I recommend following them on Twitter if you like elephants or just all the African animals, because they work on that. So yeah, you can. So someone in chat asked, so they also save rhinos that are orphans. So they save all animals and stuff like that they can, and so their keepers work with. Mainly, I believe, African mammals that they've saved. So,
wait, how much is it to adopt one?
For as little as $50 a year.
What?
Is what it says on their homepage there, yeah.
Yeah, and so usually,
cool.
if you adopt an animal, they'll send you monthly updates on how the animals are doing and how they're acquainting to the environment. There, but you can see on their homepage that I believe they've saved almost 250 orphans.
That's so cool.
Oh, can I get one?
And you see they have the veterinary cases and the mobile de-snaring teams, and that's kind of what we're talking about with how they're saving elephants from the different snares and stuff.
That's really cool. Cool.
But,
all right. Well, guys. It's linked in chat. You can still do command org. Thank you so much, Andrew. I will send you all of that stuff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, chat.
All right. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah. Enjoy your White Claws.
Thank you. Bye.